All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. Just a short video to speak on a topic that I feel should be brought to the light. All right. When it comes to protecting yourself and your loved ones, making the right choice for self-defense is critical. There are a lot of options out there, be it batons or pepper spray. You could look online or go to some stores and you could find a plethora of options for you. Okay. Now, in the civilian world, they're marketed as a safer alternative to firearms, traditional firearms. But today, I would like to examine the hard truths behind their limitations. All right. Are they as reliable and easy to use as they claim to be? It's a question I've been asking myself. Now, we all know that less lethal weapons are designed to incapacitate and deter an attacker without causing lethal harm. They use non-lethal munitions. And I went over it before. You have your chemical munitions when it comes to, arms like the launchers here, impact munitions. And if you're using a traditional firearm, such as a shotgun, you have your beanbag rounds, you have your non-lethal shells, you even have rubber bullets for 9mm. I have extensive experience with the FN-303Ps, which are a sidearm, or the FN-303MX2s, both of them 68 calibers. Obviously, here I am crossing over. But all this sounds great, right? It does. But there is a catch. And it's something that I haven't, heard no one really talk about just yet. And if you don't have training, you don't have formal introduction into even live firearms, that's why I want to look at why these tools may not be the best choice for self-defense for you. All right. And I'm only speaking to those. All right. The first big misconception is that less lethal weapons will stop an attacker in their tracks all the time. All right. Now, unfortunately, that's not always the case. All right. These weapons rely on pain compliance, right? Which means they're banking on the idea that the hostile will feel pain and back off. All right. Most people are not going to take headshots. They're going to take body shots, center mass, whatever. Right. But what happens if the hostile is under the influence? Alcohol, or just simply determined, overly aggressive. All right. Pain may not register at all to them, specifically if you're using impact munitions only. All right. We all know that you don't know what a hostile intentions are, what their capabilities are. All you know is that they're aggressive, but you don't know, if they're altered in any way. All right. Now, studies do show that individuals in altered states and high stress situations often react to pain different than what we expect. That means your less lethal weapon may fail when you need it the most. And a lot of people are not going to have an EOF in place, which is an escalation of force protocol, where if one fails or keeps progressing, you escalate the force accordingly. Now, that goes with hours and hours of training. So that's why I emphasize it. All right. Now we're going to talk about range and accuracy. Most lethal weapons are only effective at very close distances, often within 10 to 20 feet, I would say. All right, beyond that, the accuracy plummets. All right, it's just simple physics. The impact weakens. No matter what kind of impact munitions you're using, it's going to diminish over distance. All right. Now, if you compare that to traditional live firearms, which can maintain precision and stopping power over a much greater distance, that's a different ballpark. So in a real world self-defense scenario, distance may mean the difference between safety and danger. Now, once again, I'm going to reiterate that proper training and negate some of these limitations. All right. And another major drawback is reliability. Most less lethal weapons, they are prone to jamming or malfunctioning. Even some traditional live firearms are. All right, especially under stress. Plus, reloading them can be slow and clumsy, especially compared to a live firearm. So in a life-threatening situation, you need a weapon that's going to work flawlessly every time. So you have to make sure you maintain these weapons, whether it be lethal or not less lethal. And you have to train in accordingly. If the situation calls for your weapon malfunctioning, what are you going to do after that? What is your EOF, right? Now, here's something that people often overlook, which is the legal and ethical implications. While less lethal weapons are marketed as safe in the civilian world, they can still cause serious injuries and even death if misused. No, my philosophy on it is I'm trying to cause serious injury if there's a hostile approaching me or my loved ones, right? I'm not going to sit there and baby them and have a cup of coffee with them. But that being said, you need to know your laws, your local laws, your state laws. Uh, that way, you have yourself familiarized with the implications of it. And I don't know your moral codes about it. If you're just looking to, deter him just so you could try to get away or inflict enough pain that, he knows what he's come up against. All right. So depending on your local laws, you could face legal trouble for deploying them in certain situations. Now, if it's a situation where you're deployed and the hostile's intentions wasn't that aggressive, something that you could use your hands for, that's what I'm talking about. So you got to think about that. So always know your rights and responsibilities before using any self-defense tool, lethal or non-lethal, because there are some places in this country, which is sad, that you have criminals, thugs, that have more rights than the victims do. All right. Now, I personally overlook that, but that's a conversation for another day. But it's the truth. Some places, it doesn't matter if you're defending yourself. Just be aware of that. All right. Now, I'm trying to think of what I was trying to say here. But what I can say is that if less lethal weapons aren't the answer, what are your alternatives? You can get pepper spray. You can get a baton. Sorry about that. All right. There's a number of weapons out there that you can get to protect yourself if using something like these you're uncomfortable with and whatnot. But if you're comfortable, if you're trained, traditional firearms remain the most reliable. With that being said, less lethal can come into play on certain situations, but you still must be trained, or the limitations that these weapons have will be a crutch. Right? So with the training, you can overcome a lot of these limitations. All right. So understanding your weapon, it's absolutely essential, right? Weapons should be an extension of you, right? It's life or death. It should be something that you want to be well versed on, have a great understanding of their weaknesses, their strengths, what drawbacks, everything, and you'll be fine. And always have an EOF in place, an escalation of force protocol. All right. Now, at the end of the day, your safety is your responsibility, guys. I don't think I have to tell you that. Less lethal weapons, they do sound appealing, but they do come with those drawbacks. You can't ignore them. So please, if you're new to it, do your research, get your proper training, and choose the right weapons to protect yourself and your loved ones. You could have multiple weapons. One day you might take one day you might take another. I particularly have an arsenal of both. All right, because you can never have too many, in my opinion. But that's just me. So if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, share it with someone who might benefit from this information. I want to get this to as many people as I can. And my objective is just to have people be safe, have people have the proper tools, and give you a working knowledge of it. Okay? So stay safe. See you guys next time.